17th of January, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashevua with Rashi, Yisro.
Anybody there?
Hello, Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Omari.
Yeah, Shalom Aleichem. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, how are you?
Baruch Hashem. Sorry, a bit late.
No problem. With just us. I don't know where Yechiel is. Meir was here this morning, so he'll probably join us.
Okay.
And Steve, I haven't seen for quite a while.
Yeah, Stevie doesn't like going on Zoom. I don't know if something's got against. Oh, Steve Rappaport, you mean? Yeah, I've seen Steve. What's his name? Steve Rappaport. I don't know what's happened to him. He came once back and then hasn't been. Okay, let's go.
7 or 8 or 8.
We're up to Pasuk Zayin, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Pasuk Zayin.
V'yetze Moshe lik ras chosno v'yish tachu v'yishak lo v'yish alu ish l're'ehu l'shalom v'yavo'u ha'ohelah. Okay, so Moshe went out to greet his father-in-law, and he bowed and he kissed him, and they asked one man to his friend,
Each other.
to each other. Okay, they asked one man to each other.
Right.
The shalom about the well-being
Of the other, right.
About their well-being, and they came to the tent.
Or actually means they entered the tent. Vayavo'u means they entered.
They entered the tent. Okay, so Zion, Vayetze Moshe went out. Kavod Gadol Nis Kabed Yisro B'osa Sha'a. He gave a great honor to Yisro.
He was honored.
What?
Yisro, it's a passive form. Yisro Niskabed means Yisro was honored with great honor the Oisa Shah at that time. Why? Kimin Sheyotza Moshe, once Moshe went out, Yotza Aaron Nadav Avihu. So Aaron, Nadav, and Avihu, who were the next in line in the hierarchy of the leadership of the Jewish people, they also went out. Umihu shara es elu yotzim v'lo yotza. Meaning, so therefore, why Aaron, Nadav, and Avihu? Because they were attended by Moshe in his tent. They were learning from him. So if Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law Yisro, so obviously he says, okay, my dear brother Aaron and Nadav and Avihu, we have to stop now because we're going to meet my father-in-law. So they went out to meet the father-in-law. So if Moshe went out, so Aaron and Nadav and Avihu also went out. And if all those four went out, that's what Rashi says, the thing, who would see just these leaving and they would just stay at home and not go out?
I'm confused. Nadav and Avihu are the bad guys.
So one second. First of all, they're not bad guys. It says the Maisa, they were next in line for the leadership. They erred at the time on the day of the dedication of the Mishkan, they erred and they brought their own personal fire without being ordered to do so by Moshe, to being ordered to do so by Moshe. That was their mistake. Okay? Question one.
You're saying they just made a mistake?
Yeah, they made one-time
I
mistake.
thought they were drunk and.
So the question is, what was the precursor that caused them to make the mistake? What was the catalyst? Okay, some say, by the way, when you say they were drunk, doesn't mean they were walking in there totting, like drunkards. It means they drank more than the permitted amount. They weren't drunk, but because they went in drinking more than the permitted amount, which how much was that?
A kazayas.
Huh?
3.3 ounces.
Is about that. A revius, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, a revius. Yeah,
Yeah.
revius.
Okay, so it wasn't just a tremendous amount of wine, but it wasn't more than they were permitted.
So in other words, it didn't affect their perception.
Not necessarily, no.
So it wasn't because of the drink that they made this mistake.
Correct. Okay, so there's a number of reasons, but they were definitely very, very great people. And in fact, it says that this Moshe Rabbeinu told Aaron, after it happened, he says, this is what Hashem said, B'kroivai et kodesh. With the ones who are close to me, I will be sanctified. Kaviyachal HaKadosh Baruch Hu had not predetermined, premonized, right? That there's going to be something calamitous going to happen on the day of the dedication of the Mishkan, and nobody knew what it was going to be. And when this happened, Moshe Rabbeinu explained to Aaron, this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, even though it's a time of tremendous simcha, the fact that with the Mishkan was dedicated, now there was a place, there was an oil moed, there was a Mishkan where Jewish people could offer sacrifices. But this, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had warned me that there's going to be this great day, there's going to be marred by some tragedy. And that means, B'kroivai kodesh, with the ones who are close to me, I will be sanctified. Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu did that, I don't know. But Maisa, this is what was, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had warned Moshe about it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had known that such an event was going to happen. But and the one, Nadav and Avihu, were of the highest level, that they were the ones chosen to be the holy ones with whom HaKadosh Baruch Hu would be sanctified. Okay?
There. We are in 18:7.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Rabbi,
Sorry, I'm late.
No problem. Rabbi, you said something that made me want to ask a question. You said that Moshe Rabbeinu knew that something was going to happen, but didn't know what.
Right.
That troubles me because that sounds like the astrologers in Egypt, lahavdil, that they knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know what. Why would Moshe be operating in that realm of knowledge?
It's what Hashem had told him. It wasn't something which Moshe Rabbeinu knew out of astrology. The pasuk says, I'm just quoting what it's based on a pasuk. Where is it? It's not in. Yeah, in Parsha Shmini. 1 second. Parsha Shmini. Hold it a second. Vayikra. Yud. Where is it? Yeah. Chapter 10 in the Chumash Vayikra. Pasuk says,
Vayikra.
first Pasuk says that. Vayikra, chapter 10. It says, I'll read it out. Vayikra b'nei Aaron nadav avihu ish machtosoi, vayiknu b'hen eish, vayosimu oleh keturos, vayakrivu lifnei Hashem eish zara asher lo tzivo isa. Unauthorized fire, which Hashem had not, or Moshe had not commanded him to do so, to bring. V'ateitz eish milifnei Hashem, v'atoichal asom oisom vayomusu lifnei Hashem. Fire went out from before Hashem and it consumed them and they died before Hashem. Vayomer Moshe el Aaron. Moshe said to Aaron, Hu asher diba Hashem leimor. This is what Hashem had spoken, saying, Bikroivai ekodesh. With those who are close to me, I will be sanctified. And before all the people, I will be honored. Vayidoim Aaron, and Aaron kept silence, meaning he accepted that this was a gezeira min hashamayim, that this is what had to be. Let me look in the Mefarshim over here. Yeah, Rashi says, where did Hashem had spoken to it? Heichon diber says, "V'no'adati shomer l'bnei Yisrael v'nikdash b'chvodi." Right? I will be sanctified with my honor. Al tema b'chvodi ela b'mechubadai.
Where are you reading? I lost.
I'm reading Rashi in Parsha Shmini. I'm going to read it out. Omalei Moshe Aaron. Moshe said to Aaron, Aaron Achi, Aaron my brother, Yodeo Yisi Shiskadesh Habayis B'miyudov Shalmokai. Okay, I knew that the house, meaning because when the Mishkan is going to be consecrated, it's going to be sanctified with those Yudov Shalmokim, ones who are close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But meaning that Kivyachol is going to be a human korban as well. It means HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not up to us, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to have one of his people close to him who will die on this day. And I thought, oy bi, oy bacha, either I or you. Achshav, now, now I see that they are greater than I, greater than me, and greater than you. Okay?
So when it says, I have known, we don't know how he knew.
Yes, it says, V'nikdash b'chvodi. Hashem said, I'm going to be sanctified with those who are close to me.
Where do you, V'nikdash? I see.
Well, the apostle that Hashem had told him. So why HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted this, I don't know. That is something already.
Well, my English says, and the tent shall be sanctified by my glory. Now you're saying don't read it that way. Read it, I will be sanctified.
With those who are my honored ones, people who are close to me. You have to see you have to really look up the psukim there in chapter Vayikra, chapter 10, pasuk 2 or 3. What was it? So we're up to pasuk 3. Vayikra, chapter 10, pasuk 3. You have to look in the Mefarshim over there. There's Rashi, and there's what else is there? Put it over here. Ramban. Ramban discusses Rashi.
Okay, so this statement, and there I will meet with the children of Israel and be sanctified by my glory. Oh, that's coming from Shmos.
That's coming from Shmos.
Ah, I see. So Rashi is quoting Shmos, and then he's explaining that we should read it differently than it's in Shmos. We should,
Right.
instead of reading
Chazal-
it B'Chodi, we
Chazal
should read it B'Mechu Badi.
Chubadai, my honored ones who I consider honored.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Vayishtachu vayishatra. Let's continue.
Okay, let me just put this down here. Okay. Now where are we? Vayishtachu vayishak lo. And he bowed and he kissed him. Eini yodea mi hashetach.
Vayishtachaveh lemi.
He shtachaveh lemi. I don't know who bowed to whom. Who bowed to whom?
Right.
Kishehu omer ish l're'ehu, because it says man to his friend.
No, kishu oime ish l're'ehu. Since it says ish l're'ehu, so one who's considered a man, an ish, he bowed down to his fellow man. Mi hakoroi ish. Who is the one? Carry on.
Who is the one who's called man?
Ish.
That Moshe. This is Moshe. Shne'emar v'ha'ish Moshe, as it says, the man Moses.
Right. On of Moed. It says that later in Parshas Ba'aloischa. Now, what Rashi means is as follows. A person, it can be called an Adam. He's a human being. Every person is a human being. It's also Ish. Ish signifies somebody of importance. And the Lamaisa, Pshat is that a person, besides being from Adama, which is from the earth, and that's why an Adam, a person is called Adam because he's created from the ground. Okay. But there's also a person aspect, the person is an Ish. And the Ish, the root of that is Aish, fire. Meaning somebody who has personality. That's, I guess, the best way of expressing in English. Person has personality means he's not just, gets up in the morning, does his routine, whatever he's got to do, and then it's not something. He's a personality, he's fire. There's a fire in him. That's an Ish. Okay? Now, generally, we attribute the term Ish to being tzaddikim, but it doesn't necessarily mean so, because Ish can also mean anybody who has personality. It means he doesn't just schlep along guy, it's just one thing rolls into the other. He's doing things with purpose. He's doing things with fire, with a purpose behind it, with ambition, right? Such a person is called an Ish. Now, it can also be relative. So that's what we're saying over here. Yisro could have well also been termed an Ish, but in comparison one to the other, Moshe was more of an Ish than Yisro. So when we say Ish l're'ehu, who do we give the title to Ish, as opposed to the other one, who was called merely Re'ehu, his fellow man? Then Chazal learn that the Ish is referring to Moshe, and Yisro is referring to, he's the Re'ehu, he's the fellow man. His level of Ish, of personality, was not the same as compared to Moshe. Okay? And the
Okay.
fact, so that's what we're going to arrive from the positive. Ish Moshe Onamad. He was the man. He was the personality. It's probably the greatest personality ever existed among the Jewish people, certainly as far as prophecy was concerned. Okay? Yeah. So in other words, so basically what Rashi is saying is that Moshe bowed down to Yisro and Moshe kissed Yisro, and then they asked each other, how you doing? How you each one asked after the other one's welfare. By Avoyu they entered the tent. Okay, Pasuk Ches, Meya.
Okay. Okay. V'yisaper Moshe l'chotno et kol asher asa Hashem l'Faro u'lemitzrayim al odot Yisrael et kol hatila'ah asher mitzatam b'derech v'yatzileim Hashem. Oh, that's interesting. Yatzileim. Okay, so let's see. Moshe related to his father-in-law. All that the Hashem did to Pharaoh and to Egypt. Adot. What's it? Adot.
Regarding.
Regarding Yisrael. Okay. All the trouble, which
Tribulations. All the
tribulations. Okay, that they found themselves in, I guess,
that had befallen them.
Oh, had befallen them on the way, Baderech. Okay. Yatzileim, and Moshe saved them.
It's the name Hashem.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hashem saved them.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting because it came to mind when I said the Yitzaleim, Yatzileim, isn't the word for camera matzlema?
Yeah.
Modern Hebrew?
Yeah, but there the mem is part of the root.
Oh, the mem is part of the root. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Vayatzile means he saved Vayatzil Oisom.
Oh, okay.
Right?
But you can hear Tselem in there.
Right. Tselem comes from a thing. That's interesting. I wonder if
that's image.
something on this. But it is actually the root. Obviously, it's not really connected because the mem is a suffix.
It's a pronoun.
Right, a pronoun suffix.
Right. So, okay, so it's not part of the root. Okay, good. Okay, so let's see, Rashi. It says, Vayisaper Moshe lechotno. So Moshe said to his father-in-law, Limshoch et libo lekarvo letorah. To limshoch is to draw water, I guess. Well, and this says his heart.
To draw his heart, to
closer to Torah.
Right, to bring him close to Torah.
Wow.
I mean, if you want to know, you give me an idea what's going on. I'm not chas v'shalom. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But just imagine, you've got this Moshe Rabbeinu, right, and his shver, some guy from thing, and you just imagine you see the lead of the Jewish people with a long white beard and rabbinic figure, and he said, guy walks in, shaven guy, with a little paper couple on top, right? Walks in together, right? With says this is and Moshe Rabbeinu is according him equal honor with this with the rest of the thing. People looking like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds a little bit. I mean, chas v'shalom, that's not what happened. But I'm saying just to give an understanding of the scenario, what's going on. that this Yisro is coming along, who's absolutely somebody who has had no connection to the Jewish people, and he has he's now coming and joining. He wants to now, as a convert, he wants to join the thing, but he's of very little knowledge of being part of the Jewish people. But anyway, okay. Because we're going to see later on that it's pretty amazing that, he comes along and he starts giving advice to Moshe, which doesn't seem appropriate. Somebody who has absolutely no idea of all the, if you want to go give an example nowadays, like somebody, this American, I'm giving an example of American, but somebody who has, comes along to, and he sees what's going on by Reb Chaim Kanievsky, long lines of people waiting there. He says, oh, this is terrible. We're going to have to do something about this. And he said, we're going to have a different system. So now most people tell me, excuse me, sir, have you been aware, if you've been watched what's going on here and been here for a few months, then you can understand what's going on. But you're just coming out of left field. But it's not true here. You see that Moshe Rabbeinu did not. It's not the way he I should say Messiachis. It was not the way he treated his father-in-law. It's not the way he listened to his father-in-law. He accepted his advice obviously he realized that even though Yisro was coming as an outsider, he could have this objective view that he would be able to look at it objectively and maybe with a bit of an objective view, he could understand things better when people who were were in the, how should you say it, right in the melee of what was going on. Okay, we'll see. We're going to see in a few psukim.
I'm wondering about the way you're characterizing Yisro, because my understanding is that he had tried every avodah zorah in the world,
right,
and he had rejected every one of them.
That's true, right?
So that would seem to me to show that he had quite an intellect. That he was. I
didn't anyway suggest that Yisro's intellect was lesser than anybody else. But I'm saying his involvement or understanding of what Judaism was very limited.
Why do you say that? I would think if he was an expert on religion, I think he would know about Judaism along with all the other religions.
Well, that's what I'm pointing out over here, that Moshe Rabbeinu seemed to, spend time with him in order to be able to teach him and make him familiar with what Judaism was about. It seems that before he came, he was tremendously impressed by what had happened to the Jewish people, and that encouraged him to come. But
right.
Nevertheless, it seems that before Moshe Rabbeinu felt that he has to, before he becomes part of the Jewish people, he needs to learn a lesson or two. It's not something which he could just come, just join the people without any preparation whatsoever. Okay. Let's see over here.
Okay, so goes on Rashi, et kol hatela'ah, so all the trouble, shel hayam v'shel Amalek, at the sea and with Amalek.
Wow. Both times the Jewish people at these occasions, they had been threatened, okay? At the sea, they were mamash in dire straits. There was the sea on one side and the Egyptians on the other. That's number one. And Shel Amalek attacked them as well. Okay?
So
Rashi, that Attilah is referring to being pursued or pressured by an enemy. Not just, let's say, they went through thirst, they went through hunger, but it seems that Rashi doesn't mention that. That's not comes under the title of Tzla. I'm not sure. 1 second. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, let's continue. Now Rashi is going to
Okay.
only on the word Tzla. What's the word Tzla?
The trouble. Okay. Lamed Aleph min hayisod shel teva. So Lamed and Aleph, I guess, are the root, not root, the foundation, I guess.
The root, the part of the root
Okay,
of the
the
word.
root of the word.
Right, now what Rashi is pointing out, however, Tov, the Tov is not. Whereas Rashi is saying the root of the word is Lamed Aleph Hey. Basically, that's what comes out.
Oh, Lamed
The root of
Aleph.
the letter of this word is Lamed Aleph Hey. And the Tov is an auxiliary letter, an auxiliary letter. Tov utiken v'yesod hanoifel mimenu lifroki, which sometimes is added in order to give it the word a certain sense, and so other times it's omitted. So now Rashi gives other examples where the Tov is added to a word to give a certain sense or meaning. V'chein.
Okay, so v'chein, truma. Oh, the truma is the tithe, isn't it?
Well, so really the word comes from, the root is reish mem hey, to raise something.
Oh, to raise up.
Right? Now, with that is in a, when it is in a hifil, a causative form, because the word is called laharim, right? To raise, okay? And when you want to describe the noun form of something that has been raised, you call it truma. So a tof, in that sense, takes the place of the hey of the verb, and in a noun form, it's now becomes a tof. That's the same thing. There's all these are the same thing, come under the same category. Truma, tenufa. Lahanif means to wave. Tenufa is something that is waved. Tekuma. Lahakim means to raise something. Tekuma means something that has been raised. It's an object that's been raised. Tenua is something that has been moved. Right? Lahania, in this case or whatever, is is to move, right?
Right.
To make something move, right? And tenua is something which is, I mean, that's why they use this word in Ivrit for traffic. It can be with an ayin as well, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Huh, interesting.
Okay, it's interesting. Okay, sometimes in Aleph as well. Okay, so the same thing over here. Here it's slightly, Tela'ah is slightly different because you should say Teluah. Is Kolat Teluah if it followed the same thing, but somehow in because it's an Aleph there, you say Teluah, but you say Tela'ah. Not quite sure why, but that's the way, that's the grammatical rule. Okay.
Okay. Very good.
Hold it here. Very good. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tomorrow, basically.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Have a great day. Be well.
Have a happy Tu B'Shvat.
You too.
Same to
Thank
you.
you.
A fruitful one of that, and don't forget to daven for an esrog. Okay.
Oh, right. That's interesting. Very good. See you later, Lou.
Okay, I'll daven for an esrog for me and for you.
Okay, both we'll do for both. Okay.
Okay.
See you later.